Now to Nigeria, where the Electoral Commission has declared Bola Tinubu a president-elect. He was the candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress Party. Nigerians stayed up late into the night to hear the announcement. Mr. Tinubu is now expected to take over from outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari. The Electoral Commission said Mr. Tinubu won 8.8 million votes, while his main challenger, Atiku Abubakar, took almost 7 million. But opposition parties have questioned those figures and labelled the election a scam.
The man known as the Godfather of Lagos arrived to a pop star's welcome. A long-time political kingmaker, Bola Tinubu has just pulled off his biggest win yet. Addressing his supporters after a scrappy campaign, he portrayed himself as a unifying figure.
We work together to put broken pieces together. We must work for the unity, happiness and harmony.
Earlier, the National Election Commission confirmed the final results after a highly disputed vote.
Tinubu Bola Ahmed of the APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Thank you.
Party agents stepped forward to sign off on the results, but it was unclear if the main opposition officials did so too. On Tuesday, they called for fresh elections following complaints about technical and logistical issues hampering last week's vote, concerns shared by some on the streets.
I'm not in a position to give an advice to whoever is at the top but in my opinion, I think they should repeat the election. That's it.
I would say that it wasn't a free and fair process because it was obviously rigged in every state.
Becoming president was a lifelong ambition for Tinubu. His campaign slogan was, "It's my turn," but now he may have to wait for the courts to have their say.
Straight to Nigeria's commercial capital then, where we find DW's Lagos Bureau Chief, Flourish Chakora. Welcome, Flourish. So it's my turn. So now he's got his turn. What's he going to do?
Well, during his campaign, he made a lot of promises, many of which kind of reflected the policies of President Muhammadu Buhari. Of course, they're from the same party, including big spending, training people on entrepreneurial skills, unemployed youth as a means to tackle unemployment, including heavy investment in agriculture and things like creating more agencies to tackle insecurity. These are some of the things that Tinubu wants to do. Of course, just like many other candidates, many of the things he was promising were just like broad and not really specific in terms of specific policies or steps that he would take to actually solve Nigeria's many problems.
And we saw in the report there are concerns about the way the election was run and there are calls for a rerun. Are election authorities taking those calls seriously?
Well, from what we've seen, Phil, there's a stance or a body language of nonchalance among the electoral officials and among the government as well. This morning, President Buhari released a statement saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the man for the job, obviously okaying what the Electoral Commission has announced. The Electoral Commission chairman himself, during the process of compiling the results, received so many complaints from people saying that they were not going to agree with it. In fact, opposition party members were protesting at the compilation office, but the chairman simply did not respond. So obviously, it doesn't look like anything much is going to come from that end. But Nigerians are still insisting. Yesterday, they were protesting in different parts of Nigeria, and people are saying that are insisting that the Electoral Commission does the right thing.
The presidential ticket is usually split between a Christian and a Muslim. And Bola Tinubu and his running mate are both Muslim. How is that likely to affect the perceived legitimacy, especially in such a disputed result?
Well, in terms of legitimacy, there is no written law in Nigeria that says that it has to be split between Christian and Muslim. Now, Nigeria is almost equally split among religious lines, almost 50-50, Christianity and Islam. But, and over the years, it has kind of become tradition, like an unwritten law, that one of either the vice president or the president is from the two religions. But it's not illegitimate to have two Muslim candidates, according to the Nigerian law. But of course, that doesn't mean that Christians in Nigeria are just going to fold their arms and act like like accept it. Many people are, of course, challenging that, and that's one of the reasons why he didn't get a lot of support among Christians, because it seemed like he was ignoring that whole group of people. So we just have to wait and see how things evolve. It didn't affect him so much when he was campaigning. He still won the tickets for the primaries, and I don't see that being a major key or affecting him so much, you know, now that he's been declared as winner.
Thank you for that, Flourish. Flourish Jakora in Lagos.